creator Kerstin Oleta, the founder of the Business Leadership Excellence Institute. I am dedicated to empowering entrepreneurs by sharing tools, tips, and resources on body language strategies and more on my show, Body Language Strategy with Kerstin. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Body Language Strategy with Kerstin. My name is Kerstin Oleta. I am a content creator. I am a master body language strategist and the CEO and founder of the Business Leadership Excellence Institute. When we're talking about body language, we want to make sure we are showing up to create influence and impact in everything we do. And when you can do it without saying a word, you are really creating magic. So that's the beauty of body language strategies. You're learning how to magnetize people with you. And that's what we're talking about every time on Body Language Strategy with Kerstin. What are those tools that you can use to start attracting people to you, deepen those business relationships, and use a very strong communication, especially in your nonverbal communication, to get that business? So I'm very excited today, again, talking about how we're going to show up as the face of your business. Now, we're going to talk about this both in the um, literally the face aspect when we're talking about body language tips, but also what is it to be that person who is the representation of the business. And we have an excellent guest to talk about this today. Her name is Katie Brinkley, and she's an author and a social media strategist. Now, today, in this day and age of business, if you're not on social media, you're not doing marketing correctly. You want to make sure this is a very easy place to get out there and expand the reach of your brand. So I'm excited to have her come on, and she's going to share with us a little bit of her journey of how she got into being a social media strategist and what body language looks like in this medium of we can be out there everywhere. So let's bring Katie up. Here she comes. The ever lovely Katie. Hello, my dear. Welcome. We're excited to have you join us here on Body Language Strategy with Kerstin.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I know that this has been in the works for a while, and so I'm really excited that we were able to make it happen and that you asked me to be on your show with you.
Yes. Well, I was so excited to have you as a guest because you're out there as a speaker, as an author, and as, again, a social media strategist in this really exciting time of marketing, right?
Yeah.
This and it's ever evolving. And tell us a little bit about how you got into this space where you're doing all these things.
Sure. Yeah. So, the super Cliff Notes version, I started by helping bands with their MySpace pages
Nice.
and being a
Back in the
social media.
day.
I know. Yeah. Like when we were ruthless and showcased to the entire world who our favorite friends were and like just knocked them right out when they weren't in the top eight. Yeah. So, started social media back with MySpace. But I was really into radio. So, I wanted to be a radio DJ when I grew up. I was fortunate enough to land my dream job. Sirius XM came out, and everybody in the radio industry panicked. I moved into marketing, and the rest is history. I've had my social media and podcast production agency now for about 7 years. Oh man, it's September at the time of this, recording, and then so it'll be 8 years in November that I've had my business, and it's been
Wow. That's awesome.
amazing. But and I'm glad that I'm here on this with you because what we're talking about today, like everything changed when I stopped
Mm.
being a logo and I started being Katie Brinkley.
Exactly. And I love that you talk about, you really changed your business and your approach by making sure you were the face of your business instead of just marketing out the business name, right?
Yeah.
And I love this because I think it's so important as someone who's guiding people in how are they showing up for their business. It's
Mhm.
real easy for people to want to hide behind that logo,
Oh,
right?
yeah. It was so
Real
easy to
easy.
hide behind the logo.
Feels so comfortable, but they don't understand they are really crippling themselves in the expansion of the business. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have a social media agency and I was making all the mistakes I tell people not to do. I
As we
crazy,
do.
right? Yeah, and it is interesting because I can see the picture, the big picture for my clients so easily, but when it comes to me, I'm like, "But I don't know what to post. I don't know what to." I mean, like it's
Mhm.
crazy. But
Yes.
once, like I said, it wasn't until COVID, and I don't know if you know Sue B. Zimmerman. She's the Instagram expert over on Instagram. Like that's her
Okay.
handle is the
Yeah.
Instagram expert. And she and I were talking, and she commented. We were talking in the DMs, and she goes, "So wait, so who am I talking to?" And I was like, "Well, it's me, Katie. I'm the business owner." And she's like, "Well, all I see here is a logo because I had the logo for Next
Right.
Step Social."
Mhm.
And she's like, "So wait, so you work there?" Or and I was like, "No, no, no, it's my company." She's like, "Well, why aren't you if it's you, why aren't you the face?" And I was like, "Well, because I spent a
Right.
lot of money on, a brand kit and logo design and all of that stuff." And what I learned from COVID, like the biggest takeaway is that people wanna do business with people. And despite
Exactly.
having that fancy logo, brand kit, story brand messaging, all the
All the
things,
things.
just putting my face, as the logo for it, that it changed everything for my business because then it was like, "Oh, well, here's this little picture talking to me." It was a picture before, but I mean, it was a
Right.
picture of stairs as opposed to a picture of me. So
And I agree with you so much because that's one of the things I'm always like, "Okay, get
yeah.
out there," right? And people are contacting me saying, "Okay, but I don't feel comfortable. How do I show up confidently?" And so then we start working on their own personal space and their own personal presence of, "Okay, what does that look like for you to show up?" And I think people, they get so stuck on trying to be perfect
Mhm.
that they shoot themselves in the foot and they just decide not to. And
Yeah.
it's nobody knows who you are, and people, like you said, they like doing business
Business.
with people that they know, like, and trust. If we can't see your face, it's
Yeah.
really hard to trust you and
Well,
know what's going on.
yeah, exactly, and Kirsten, I think that, like I said, I come from radio, so I was used to just being the voice behind the picture, the voice
Right.
behind the scenes, not television. It took me a long time to get the camera confidence to even show up to do Zoom calls, something
Mhm.
like this, what we're doing right now, I would have never been able to do 4 years ago. And it's just getting on the horse, like, stop trying for perfection and start trying. That's it. Start trying,
Mhm.
and you'll get more comfortable, you'll get used to it. It won't
Yes.
be such a big deal anymore, but, it you know, it's crazy, and I know, Kirsten, I'm kinda going off on a tangent here, but my mother-in-law passed away unexpectedly over the
I'm
summer,
sorry.
and
Okay.
I didn't like, I kind of stepped away from social media. I just did, like, one post and said, like, "I'm really sad," and I just said I was
Mm.
sad because I lost a family member. And the people that reached out to me, the majority of the people that reached out were people that I've never met in real life. And I want
Isn't
that
that
just to kind of.
interesting?
Yeah, and it's not to say that, like, my friends in real life aren't great. They are. Love you guys, but
Right.
the amount of people that I have never met in real life that called me, sent,
Mm.
dinners, all sent me flowers, all the
Mhm.
things,
That's so
and it's
sweet.
because well, it's because of showing my face.
Mhm.
Even though I've never had the opportunity to give them a hug in real life,
Right.
they we feel connected because they see me show up on camera, whether it be through YouTube videos or pictures or, in stories, like Instagram stories, where I'm walking through my day or anything.
Mhm.
When you can see someone, it builds that know, like, and trust factor unlike anything else, and so,
Exactly. And
yeah, that
and
was
I
kind of
think
a tangent,
there's
but
2 that's a but I it speaks to something that I actually wanted to bring up, and there's a beauty in body language and being vulnerable, right?
Mhm.
Again, it
Yeah.
shoots us way past that trying to be perfect. Now, I always state this when I say this is not permission to show up as a hot mess, right?
No, no.
It's not permission to do that. But it is permission to show up focused more on your purpose instead of trying to be
Mhm.
perfect.
Yeah.
Because and we're living in our best space when we're showing up in our purpose, and whether it's a personal purpose or whether it's a business purpose. And
Yeah.
I'll never forget, I'm a international keynote speaker, and I started to do through COVID. COVID had many blessings. It was a crazy time, but there were, if you looked at it correctly, there were a lot of things that came out of that. And I started doing my social media aspects of cocktails with Kerstin. I would
Yeah.
just do a little motivational, 2 to 3 minute thing every week. Like, hey guys, just sitting down with the cocktail. It's been a long week. And what
That's
cracked
clever.
me up was so we finally get back and we're open and I'm out doing keynotes and I have this very extensive bio. I've worked with Fortune 500 companies all over the world. And the most excited thing the person who was introducing me was, and I just love watching her cocktails with Kerstin every week. And she kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And all of a sudden my numbers went through the roof.
Yep.
Because like you said, it's very much about people that they want to get to that tangible place with you,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And how we show up in that presence is what
Mhm.
gives them that permission to connect with you.
Yeah. You never know what it's gonna be that someone will connect with either. You know,
Exactly.
it could have been that real like, I mean, I brushed right over the radio experience I had. So that might
Mhm.
have connected with somebody, who knows? Like, or it's amazing, like, when I share that I played collegiate softball, who that connects with. You never
Right.
know what little bit of your life that is going to make you that person for someone, you know, like,
Exactly.
"Oh, that's I love Katie because of she played collegiate softball." I mean, or
Yeah.
whatever, so I'm like, "Well, I don't really talk about softball anymore. I talk about social media and podcasting, but maybe you know, feel connected to me because of that."
Exactly. And I want to bring up you have a book, the
Yeah.
social shift. So tell us a little bit, talking about connecting with you. Tell us a little bit about your book.
Yes, well, I have a media agency and podcast production company, but, I think that we've gotten into a really bad habit, and I just got done saying how great my online friends are, but they're not my only friends. My real life friends are awesome, and
Mm,
it's making me really sad that we've gotten into this mentality of living on our phones and living on social
yes.
media. How can you get in and be effective as a business leader, not
Yes.
as just an influencer, but as a business leader on social media? And that's what I talk about in the book is how it started, where we are now, where I see it going, and how you can show up less but more effectively.
I love it. Well, thank you so much I'm excited to check out this book and I encourage everybody else to. Thank you for sharing your story and how it is important to have that connection space, be vulnerable. And
Yeah.
you are absolutely lovely. And it's been a joy having you on this show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was great.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. I'm going to send you back to the green room, my dear. Isn't she lovely? So again, we'll put that connection to her book and ways that you can connect with Katie. And I love that she's talking about we really need to show up in being inviting. So that's the body language tip I want to share with everybody is, we're going to talk literally about your face now, not just being the face of the business, but your face. Are you showing up in a way that is inviting to people to engage in those conversations? And I want to give you one simple rule to start working with for the rest of your life. It's going to open so many doors with how you walk through doors. And I want to encourage you this is not just when you're walking into a room, but even when you're walking out of a room. My rule that I have for myself and that I coach my clients on is before you walk into a room, be smiling. We are watching people in the first nanosecond of that visual experience of you. And that's when we start placing our opinion of who we think you are and if we want to connect with you. So make sure you're smiling even before you cross that threshold. Be inviting the nanosecond you're there. And then, my friends, you're not done when you leave that room because you never know who's on the other side of that door when you leave. So, every single doorway you walk through, by the way, that includes virtual doorways. Are you smiling when before you turn on the camera and as you're turning the camera off? A smile goes a long way. It's free and it creates so many opportunities. Remember, it's your invitation, it's your permission for other people to work with you and want to connect with you. So we invite you to come back for another episode to connect on more aspects of body language strategy and how you can be more effective with your presence. I encourage you to go to bleinstitute.com to find out more about body language strategy and how that can help you to create influence and impact without saying a word. So we'll see you next time on Body Language Strategy with Kerstin. It's every Monday, and we're here to serve you, to show up, create greatness. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Everyone, take care. You can learn more about my services and products at on the Superstar Entrepreneurs YouTube channel. Me every week for a new episode on the Superstar Entrepreneurs